We're live, guys. Welcome. Happy Monday, Guru Nation et al. How's it going? We got Ivan Lamoureux on. Ivan and I have been strategizing, okay, a lot of things in regards to social media marketing for clinical research. Ivan's helping me and my various companies manage our email lists, number one. Number two, he's helping us with some ads on Facebook for CRC Academy. Number three, we're talking about CRO issues when it comes to patient recruitment. So wherever you are watching from on this giant blue spinning sphere, all right, you guys let us know where you are, what you're drinking. I've got some iced coffee. Ivan's got nothing. He's just rolling like natural energy, natural endorphins. Water,
Yeah,
very good. I need to be drinking more. And we're going to just talk about different things in regards to recruitment, social media. Think of this like a clubhouse um, room, but more productive. Okay. As we're here and it's recorded for replayability, which Clubhouse severely lacking. Have you been back on Clubhouse? I've been missing.
actually, yeah, no, actually, I've been missing for a while. I started coaching my son some football. I'm the offensive line
Football.
coach. Yeah.
Wait, you Canadians do American football?
Well, it's funny. We do have the four downs, but the rest of the rules seem to be all Canadianized.
Hmm.
My son makes fun of the CFL. He calls it college football. But anyways,
CFL is pretty impressive, man. I was gonna say, okay, vanilla coffee extract turbo Philadelphia. Dang, Namdi, take it easy. We want you here. I know your heart rate's like beating. Hopefully, like you're all good right now. That's a lot. Hopefully, you get some question. That just sounds like it's intense.
yeah.
Vanilla coffee extract turbo. The turbo is what is the dead giveaway there. So okay, so no clubhouse for me either. But apparently people are still using it. So let us know in the comments you're still using it. I think I'm in no rush because I think LinkedIn's going to come out with a similar thing, and you don't need to convince people to get on another platform. Elizabeth says sipping on some ice cold water in Indianapolis this is very good, very smart, guys. All you water drinkers. So Ivan, for the people that don't know who you are, you're an active member of Latinos in Clinical Research. You help with our us manage our email list. You're an expert in social media marketing, and you've come from other industries to bring your expertise to clinical research. Can you kind of give us like a 2 minute Cliff Notes version of who you are and your company?
Sure. Ivan Lamru, Crankworx Creative. You can find us online at crankworx.ca. Yeah, we're niching down more and more over the last 3 years into clinical trials. In fact, we're spinning off a second company called Screen Metrics. We're still trying to stand that up, but and what that means is it doesn't have much of a web presence or anything right now. We're doing the work within the traditional marketing agency, as it were, but we're going to move it over because we're also going to be developing some software soon. We're in the process of developing it, to help with pre-screening and so forth. Because the industry, we see there's a huge gap between recruitment and all these online tools that are out there, high fail rates and so forth. But we've been tackling these with our clients again over the last 3 years and seeing some really good success. And I mean, that's why we reached out to you. You guys were experts in your own field on the content marketing piece. So, it's been a great relationship.
Yeah, it's been awesome, and yeah, the list has been very helpful, like the dashboard and all this stuff. We're just starting to use it. I'm actually going to send another email blast because we have another Latinos in Clinical Research free Zoom meeting tomorrow. Here's a shameless plug. As part of our PI series, join our next Zoom meeting with our wonderful guest, Dr. Valverde, CEO of Cosmos Scientific in Colombia. Save the date and subscribe to our email list. So if you're on LinkedIn, you go Latinos in Clinical Research. Yeah, I mean, you already know what's going on, but if you're not, it's not too late to sign up because I haven't sent the email blast yet, but I will. I
So
like
I,
this Zoom stuff.
I just want to say one other thing too that kind of makes the company unique. I'm the founder. I did spend some time at a company called Taro Pharmaceuticals here in Canada, and they had a presence in New York as well,
Hmm.
and in Israel. And they got bought out by Sun Pharma some time ago. But I
Mm.
really got to understand uh, what the industry from that side of the fence was all about. So that's what we bring to Crankworx and soon Screen Metrics.
Wow. Okay. So look at this. Look at this meta. Two comments in a row. Drinking black coffee in Houston. Drinking coffee in Houston. You guys need to be drinking coffee together. Okay. You guys need to be. We're in research. Let's do this. You're in the same town. Let's drink coffee together. I'm in Yuma, Arizona. The only other clinical research people are people I work with. There's nobody else that I can network with in this town in research. I'm by myself. Okay. By the way, let's get to these questions, but really quick, I'm gonna save this. Maybe you, Ivan. My
Mm.
mother-in-law found this little iPod. This is
Oh,
like a
wow.
relic from like 2007. Looks like, I don't know. She's asking me to fix it for her, and I've been looking at this thing for like 20 minutes, and it only has like one hole, and I think it's for
Yeah.
headphones. So I don't know how I'm supposed to fix this because I don't know how to charge it. I don't know how to put music on it. I feel like somebody who's like took a time machine in the past. Anybody know? Maybe I'm missing something here. Okay, what? How do I get this to work? Somebody's gonna know. Okay, Jennifer says we need to connect. I love networking. There you go. You're both on LinkedIn. Boom, hit that blue button, connect, send a message. Hey, I'm drinking coffee too. Let's roll. Hopefully, you're drinking that turbo coffee that Patrick's drinking in Philly. So, Ivan,
Yes.
with CRO, when your company offers services to CROs and sponsors, okay, what?
As well as individual clinics, depending on the
Okay,
research trial.
that's true. We're gonna start using you for some of our studies too. Um, what have the I know it's relatively new with the CROs, but what have they been telling you? Like, what do you think their typical patient recruitment key performance indicators would be?
Well, yeah, randomization is one that comes up often, right? It seems the gap that I referred to earlier, it's like once people cross the threshold, if they're actually at the clinic itself, things are being recorded. There's all kinds of systems for that, right? What we're trying to get a better sense of is, well, what are the facts before they arrive, right? Like, just how many patients can you expect from a general practitioner, right? What kind of recruitment would you expect from an online recruitment effort via Facebook or any other social mediums out there, Google or Bing or what have you? And what we're hearing is it's how can I put it? It's very unorganized. Like there isn't really a in effect, this is why we started asking the question because everyone's all over the map. Some people are saying that they're getting tremendous recruitment from GPs. Others are saying, well, it's poor performance at times because we've been around for a while, and it's all relationship based. So yeah, like it's a really mixed bag, and that's why I was looking forward to the discussion.
So here's Dr. Rex Alexander, a very proud and loyal YouTube member. Thank you, all the YouTube members. It's gonna be the best $10 a month you ever spend because of because of those monthly Zooms. But I also throw in like a couple of free videos every week, at least one that are just exclusive for the YouTube members. What are some old ways? He's got the robot emoji. Dr. Alexander knows what's up. What are some old ways of patient recruitment that are still effective?
Well, if you know who your audience is, your demographic, and it's a niched demographic, not a 18 to 65, um, you know, billboards and posters can still be effective. Entertaining in any way in the form of a video outperforms most um, tactics where there's written word. Yeah, people would rather be entertained than educated. So if you can lean towards a medium that does that for you, and traditional mediums do that, when it comes to video and so forth. It's just, where do you host the video? Like, are you going to do it on your local channels, like I don't know, CTV,
Mm.
NBC, or whatever's local to you, or are you going to do it via the social mediums? What's happened is there's been a real shift from traditional to newer mediums because of cost and impact and how targeted you can be. But a poster campaign throughout GP offices, or maybe it's a mail drop for a particular initiative, can also work, right? Receiving something in the mail, because now that's being underutilized because everyone's gone to social. But here's the
Right.
reality: it's going to cost you more,
What about
per unit, per individual.
what about grassroots, like going to, like I'm doing in the community, say just straight up going to doctors' offices and saying, "Hey, we have studies." This, like the education process. Um,
That will always do better for you, right? Doctors want to build relationships, and that's how you become top of mind. You go beyond the advertising and become a person in their lives, and that'll always do better, right?
Yep.
Like,
So Dr. Alex, and this is why, look, this question relates. I'm going to go out of order. I'm getting back to the questions. I see questions about how to fix my iPod, so thank you. Rocky says, "Good day. How can I get a job in Singapore from clinical research from India after 2 years of clinical research experience?" So, or CRC experience. So recruitment is a way to get in, right? But you've already been in, so for you as a CRC, if you have any recruitment experience, like knowing how to talk to clinicians in the community, doing some of these old school things that Ivan just discussed, you know, developing that skill set or just starting to do it, that's one way to get your foot in the door at the site level. And I think that's what sites really care about. Um, Rex continues, in my experience, the PI and their involvement can have a significant effect on patient recruitment. Have you seen the same? Yes, I've seen the same. And also, I think the coordinator. So, one of these talking points we have, right? Well, one of the talking points, Ivan, is how do you measure success? I think sponsors and CROs measure success by randomizations and also by retention.
yes.
So, it does no good if you get all these randomization, that's nice, but then they all drop out after one visit. Something's wrong with the leads that you're getting in that case.
So it's funny that you bring that up, but part of the conversations we have with our clients that are CROs, we call it legitimately bedside manner, right? Because you're a touch point to that company, and you got to meet that expectation. So whatever we do in the advertising, the worst thing we can do is make a promise, and obviously it's very controlled, right? In terms
Mhm.
of when we do advertising, it's being reviewed by multiple people. But in advertising, there's this principle that if you make a promise, you have to be able to deliver on it when you arrive to the store, like if you're a retailer, for instance. But in the clinic, it's like level of care. And do people feel listened to? Do you have the right information in the various languages potentially required? Is there good representation of the different nationalities for that particular area of the city? Like, these are all things that, that's why people leave or don't, like, if it's a research trial and they have to come down for 3 or 4 appointments, if they don't feel valued or respected, I mean, there's a huge drop off rate.
Mhm. Let's get
So
to
what
some
can
of
we
these.
do? Yeah.
Let's get to some of these other talking points. But in the meantime, thank you, Yanis. Apparently, a lot of people have experience with these little things. You have a charger with the iPod. You can connect that to your laptop, and the one end is a aux, the other end is a USB. So man, this is like old school stuff here. Hello, 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 Yusef. How's it going? Rocky. All right. So hi, John. How's it going? So okay, what are the top? This one's interesting, and this one I'm gonna give some of my input, and I'm gonna give you guys like one of the real reasons. There are many reasons for these things. Okay, so one of the talking points Ivan and I had is, based on your experience in the industry, what are the top reasons for not attracting patients to a study? And I'm gonna give my answer first because this shows you how technology maybe is ahead of like practically where we're at as an industry. the top reasons why more patients are not attracted to sites is usually the coordinator is not incentivized to do so. So the coordinator is not incentivized to do so, and that's the main issue with that. Um, I'm gonna get back to this, Ivan. Why don't
Yeah.
you help with this until I get back? Okay.
Yeah, no trouble. Like for me, what we've been hearing a lot of times is the coordinator doesn't have enough time. Or what happens is, someone registers online, fills out a form or something, and then days go by before that individual gets a phone call, whoever the potential patient could be. And that, it's that incentive that Dan, you're alluding to, that seems to be, in part the issue. They're not really incentivized. It's not a priority in their day to do that follow up. So there's a lot of lost potential patients due to that lack of process, as it were. And what I also find interesting is that um, patients don't know this. Like, where's that patient? Like, basically, if you're supposed to get a phone call to go to an appointment, and it comes to you 3 days later, the follow up, like you may not even be in the right mindset to be doing that, or you probably won't be home. At best, the forms that we've seen often say, what's the best time of contacting you? Well, I could put mornings, but that particular morning something happened, and then there's a huge drop off rate. So Dan's gone dark. Um, I guess we can go to another one of the talking points. So yeah, like in terms of trends in the industry, what are the trends in terms of the research trials that are being observed? There's this trend of decentralized trials, which we find hugely compelling in advertising. In the past, when we would be focused on advertising, it was usually a 50-mile radius around the clinic in question that we'd be concerning ourselves with. And simply put, it's because people really don't want to have to drive more than an hour. They want to drive under an hour or walk to the clinic for which the trial is being held. Unless, of course, it's a very obscure disease and people travel countries to do that. But for dermatitis or some form of eczema or something, it's like that ease of travel is a big deal. But now with decentralized trials, that area all of a sudden grows because the trial can be held anywhere. So what's the catchment? Who is going to go to that research trial? Gets a lot bigger, and and you have to be more targeted even, because the algorithms work on various pieces of information, and the geography is a big piece of that information, depending on the platform, of course, you're using, right? It applies to Google, it applies to Facebook, LinkedIn, but not all platforms organize themselves the same way to capture or to narrow down their focuses. So yeah. Dan, you coming back anytime soon? All right, so I guess we're going to keep going here. So one of the big questions we had for ourselves is, what's the monetary value of a recruited patient for you? So in terms of a CRO, now we do have some sense of that, but it seems to be a pretty broad question. So Dan, I don't know if you heard
Yeah.
what I went with there.
No, sorry. This one of my offices in my house is missing a Cat 5 connection, and so the guy came and he's gonna do it right now. He's gonna make me move into another room, but um, yeah, I'm seeing the questions, and like, there is a lot that we could actually get into on this. Especially, like, we're gonna create a survey for you guys, Ivan and I, and we're
Yeah.
gonna send it out. But one of the things, like monetary value of patient recruited for you, for the site, it's generally 15
Right.
to 25K per patient, which is a lot. For a sponsor, it's a lot more than that, probably a couple multiple more than that per patient. So they're willing to pay for this stuff. Here's the low tech problem, and I mentioned it earlier. It's the bandwidth of the coordinator. Like I right
Right.
now am coordinating, and it's not just me. There's coordinators across the country. I went to conferences, I've talked to recruitment vendors, and what they're saying is, look, we're sending leads. Coordinators are not responding.
Right.
Coordinators are not responding for a couple of reasons. They've had bad experience in the past with other recruitment vendors where the leads are crap and they go to like straight to voicemail, or the person on the other end yells at them, "Why are you calling?" So that's one. So after a few like yelling sessions, you're over it. You're not going to call any more people. You're just going to go answer your queries so your monitors don't yell at you, right? Another reason is coordinators are overworked. So when the coordinator are overworked and no incentives for them at a lot of these academic medical centers, there's no incentive for a coordinator to take on more patients. It's mostly a top down thing. So they're just put in a queue, and by
Mhm.
the time they get to that queue, the patient's no longer interested. Well, it's been like
Yeah.
what, I'm back. Looks like we both got kicked off, and now I'm purple. Look at this, guys. Camera. Okay, so yeah, I don't know what's going on. This live stream, this is showing you the high tech problems with this. All right. We're live right now, but yeah, I was on a roll because let me fix my audio, but talk about how quickly when you run an ad, the patients need to be responded to.
Yeah, actually, like that's a big deal. Again, patients' expectations are not set by research trials. Patient expectations are set by what they do elsewhere in, for instance, the retail world. Most people's interactions with like online mediums have more to do with things like, purchasing something on Google. So their expectation is immediate. So if they're waiting up to 3 days, which seems to be the norm, to get a response from a research trial, their mindset's not there. The impulse to get involved is probably not there. And well, good luck getting a hold of them. And we kind of touched on that. One of the things that we're trying to do as an organization is look at how we could possibly remove that burden. The challenge there is like, how do you put a recruitment criteria or a questionnaire together uh, without practicing medicine? Because that's the thing. You go to a GP and you get a referral, that person is pre screened, right? The GP is practicing medicine and says, this would be a trial for you. When you're going to the general public and you're leaving it to them to tell you what it is they have or if they qualify, of course there's going to be a higher fail rate or um, what have you. But nonetheless, depending on just how many patients are required for a particular study to be statistically significant, at some point you will have to go to a larger population to get that recruited patient, right?
Right. And we got tons of questions. I think Ivan, maybe you come back Wednesday or Friday to continue this,
Sure.
because this is not going to end with one live stream. I mean, Lucia is asking, you know, what do you recommend to keep coordinators motivated in terms of recruitment and retention? So I'm going to actually take a screenshot of this to do a video later. And then Dr. Vega asks, you mentioned recruitment as a good entry point. I'm wondering if you could expand on that. Yes, I have a like 20-minute video on this, but basically incentivize. If you're at a big AMC, you can't do this. But if you're at a smaller site and you're the owner and you're the director, you can incentivize coordinator. Hey, an extra $200 bonus for every randomization, and then an extra $300 bonus for every patient that completes the study, right? Things like that go a long way. Or maybe a percent of the profits, or just get creative with it. Usually there's some kind of financial reward or incentive, but sometimes it's not, right? Sometimes it could be, hey, you'll be promoted to site director, and then we need you to be able to keep the other people motivated. At some point it becomes money, though.
Yeah.
The common denominator, I think, boils down to money. Even though people are motivated by many other things, the common denominator is still money. And coordinators, for what they do, for the most part, are underpaid, in my opinion.
Well, I would throw in there that the other thing that people want is time, right? So rather than just, let's face it, everybody wants the holiday season off, regardless of when they started working for the company, and they all equally think they deserve it.
Yeah.
Well, you could incentivize with time, in that being, you get the first pick of your time off, as it were. Then you're reinforcing performance that's good for everyone at the company who's looking, or the site, or however you want to say it, that's looking to move that organization forward.
Mm-hmm. Rocky says, I'm working as a CRC in cosmetics clinical research in Bangalore. Oh, my wife would love you, Rocky. Bangalore, India, and working in phase 1, 2, 3 trials. How can I proceed this experience in the next level, but want to move towards zeros like IQVIA? You just do it. You change your resume, you put the skill sets that you have, and you re-upload, and you re-upload, and you re-upload LinkedIn, Indeed, ZipRecruiter, and then you network with all the IQVIAs. All the big CROs are in India. All the big CROs are in Bangalore. All of them. So you just go there, right? If it's a matter of coming to US or Canada, that's different. It gets more complicated. I'm not a immigration attorney, but people do that all the time too. Ivan, just a question from Rex. Do you think there's a significant difference between US and Canadian trials when it comes to recruitment, I'm guessing?
Well, that's a great question. It's trial to trial, and I would also say it depends on the indication. We, in fact, we do recruitment in the U.S., Canada, and Australia. There's talk of going to South America, but right now it's just talk. I mean, that's driven by the CROs we work for. It's not like we choose the regions. It just happens to be where they have their clinics. And those are the trials we're doing the advertising on, or the recruitment are focused on recruitment. And to be clear, Crankworx, we understand that there are recruitment players out there. We are more on the digital recruitment side of things. So always using advertising as the recruitment model to move things forward. We sometimes use non-traditional, like radio ads, traditional means of recruitment, like radio ads, some video, but that's mostly what we do. Dan, I can't hear you for some reason.
Sorry. A lot of technical issues here on this episode, but why don't you guys give it a like, subscribe, comment, and share with robot emojis too to help shatter the algorithms. I was saying we're going through all these talking points here, and we're gonna have to do a part 2 because this is like to give it the attention it deserves. Each one of these talking points that we have is a podcast. One of them I found interesting was, does your site have a business strategy? If so, provide details. Let me tell you guys, the sites that I know, 99% of the sites, their business strategy is just, can we do more studies? And I mean, that's literally, it's not complicated. Like, can we do more studies? You can get a little more nuance, like, hey, we want to go from central nervous system to derm. We want to expand into another geographic area. We want to expand into another therapeutic indication. But at the end of the day, there's no real innovation at the site level. I mean, we're not going to convert a site into a tech vendor. Even though I think the smart sites are thinking about are thinking about those things. How do we differentiate ourselves? I know some sites that are starting their own platforms and things like that, and I know some sites that have morphed into CROs. 99% of the time, that's not their business strategy. The business strategy is, how do we get more studies? How do we keep our PIs happy? That's the business strategy. And then if you break it down to the study level, it gets interesting, Ivan, because if you look at every study like its own business, all right, even at the site level, every study has its own challenges. So every study requires its own business plan, really, per study.
Well, I would also argue that, like, if you want to attract more trials, if you want to capture more trials, it's also incumbent for the PI to know what their specialty is, right? Because if you can hone in on that, all of a sudden, you make a reputation for yourself at succeeding in what it is you're most interested in, and instead of trying to do everything. It also gives your site a solid personality. And then you start driving business around a nucleus that you're really good at. And then that 20% of, we'll call it more like different work, you start supporting that and you look for your next nucleus.
Let's get to 2 more of these questions. Then you guys, you let me know, Ivan, if Wednesday or Friday or even Thursday is good for you
Okay.
to do another half an hour live.
Okay.
We got 2 more questions. We can expand on these next live stream with Ivan for part 2. Stay tuned. In your experience, have you found digital advertising for clinical trials to be broadly effective?
Ooh, I'll say the dermatology trials are extremely effective using social. But when we start looking at indications that are far more specialized, maybe not so much. Now we're going back to those more traditional means. That's when you start knocking on doors. Like, there are cancer trials out there that are so specific that I wouldn't spend the money on advertising on social media, unless, of course, well, you know what, you could do posts. What I was thinking is that there are possibly groups that you'd want to canvas, but you just have to interact with them on a one-on-one. You wouldn't have to do an advertising campaign, as it were, to be effective there.
And the last one, and stay tuned for our part 2. We'll do it either Wednesday or Friday, guys. But CD says, this is not a question. It's more of a, Ivan, get to know one another. Our CRO in Canada manages trials in the US, and we have strategies. Our CRO name is Innovaderm.
Okay.
So there you go, Ivan. You got somebody new to connect with after doing this live stream. And CD
Yeah,
said
please reach out to me on LinkedIn. That'd be great.
Thursday or Friday is better for CD. So that's what he's saying. So I'm saying that those days work for me too, Ivan.
Yeah.
We'll end right now because the Cat 5 guy is going to turn me purple again. Maybe they'll do X-ray, right? So you'll be able to see what's inside. What's inside is a whole bunch of love for you guys. It's
Hey,
a
listen,
giant
that was your Andy Warhol moment. You just roll with it.
that could be an NFT. We'll make that an NFT in 10 years from now. That'll sell. One of one. Thank you, Ivan. I really appreciate it. I'll email you and we'll figure out what day you can go live again for another 30-minute session. And
Yeah.
we're going to go in depth on more of these talking points that we didn't have a chance to address. And then afterwards, we'll do a survey and maybe do like some incentive for people to sign it, fill it up or something.
Yeah. And for any other Canadians listening to this show, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Ivan's LinkedIn, CD, I will put it underneath in the show notes. Okay. But it's Ivan, YVAN, Lamoureux, LAMOUREUX.
I'll spell it LAMOUREUX. Yes.
That's right. That's right.
It's Ivan Lamoureux. Yeah, but I have people call me Ivan. It's easier to pronounce.
Ivan. I should have known better with my 4 years of French in high school. Ivan Lamoureux. Lamoureux. I need to practice. But anyways, Rod Raphael, nice to see you. Thank you, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share. Go follow Ivan. Okay. And let's do this again. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.